Hello, it's DG Ice, and today I'll be exploring Unlimited with Mega Venusaur EX. So here's Mega Venusaur EX, and the big part of the Mega Venusaur EX is it's 230 HP, meaning that you're gonna have a hard time knocking it out in one hit. And even if for some reason you can do 230 damage in one attack, we're also going to be playing two Floettes uh, to boost its HP up to a potential 270, and some hard charms to make them have to do up to 290 damage. And the reason that's important is because we're also going to be playing max potions and Meganium with Leaf Trans to move the energies back on and off, so that way we can still power up our Crisis Vines and and get the benefits of max potion healing, up to 200 damage per turn. Um, so you could also be using Kangaskhan just as easily here with all the same grass energies. Um, and probably like the normal type stadium to boost its HP or whatever. But the Crisis Vine attack is better in that it inflicts these status conditions, which while everyone should have something to get around it, um, this forces them to have it, so that if they don't, they get punished for it, and if they don't have something, then basically their Pokemon's locked in with the paralysis and poisoned for the extra damage per turn. And the reason it's good to force them to use it is because if they don't have some like free way to switch, then they obviously have extra resources in other areas of their deck. So the other parts of their deck should be stronger. Anyways, besides that, we also get to play Virizion for the Verdant Wind, and the Emerald Slash is actually amazing with Leaf Trans because you Emerald Slash with 2 energy, get an extra 2 energy, and then next turn you have like 5 energy. And since you really only ever need 4 in this deck, you can use one of those energy to retreat off of Verzian and then go into your Mega Venusaur EX's Crisis Vine return early. Besides that, playing Jirachi just because this deck has a lot of problems with consistency since we're only playing 4 Professor Oak's New Theory and 4 Shauna, which is honestly just bad. You should play way more supporters and whatnot, but there's just no room in this deck. So playing Jirachi, which lets us play 1 Skyla, which lets us search for 1 Tropical Beach, and Tropical Beach is one of the key cards to like having an actually good start where you can get everything online, because without it you're just not drawing enough cards, you're not seeing enough of your deck, because this deck you need to get out you need to get out your Chikoritas and your Venusaurs early on, and then late game is when you want the max potions, because they don't really do too much early game. Although on like the second or third turn when your opponent starts attacking, you can kind of use the max potions on your Venusaur or whatever to stall the game out a little, give you a little extra time to build up energy and then Leaf Trans them on later. other than that, just kind of playing the one random receiver. That way you can junk arm it back, and then also playing um, one professor's letter and one energy retrieval and one heavy ball and one level ball. Also, you can kind of either Skyla for them or you can junk arm them back, just so you have access to that. I'm not sure that Master Ball is the right ace spec in this deck, but there are just so many pieces, so many Pokemon that you're looking for that, it just gets everything, right? It also turns all your junk arms into Ultra Balls, so that's kind of nice. So let's go watch some games. So one of the things about this deck is that you do want so many different pieces. You want to be able to play so many different pieces that you have to play fewer of each piece, meaning that you're less likely to draw each piece, and it's just not as consistent. So maybe there's a version where we cut out some of the stuff, and that version might play better. Here you see one of the strengths, though, is that you could just set up a Mega Venusaur with Hard Charm, and while you're trying to set up the extra damage, you just tank. You just have Venusaur taking the damage every turn, and then you max potion it off. See there, I didn't even bother healing off 100 damage because I knew he couldn't possibly do that much. So we're trying to find your Meganium to set up, and here we'd like either another Floette or Virizion. We just can't get that final energy out there because we had to max potion it off the first time. Right here, since I saw he had Lysander, I figured the safest place to keep the energy was on Venusaur, but obviously I was wrong because I didn't play around the discard off the active. So it might have been better to spread them around, like maybe one on Meganium, one on Jirachi, one on Floette, but I think that probably was still the safest play, because if he had another Lysander, he just knocks out one of those Pokemon and takes away the energy. So here, we finally get a Crisis Vine off, get to paralyze him, and now he has to retreat. And this is another one of the deck's shortcomings, is that I didn't have any way to knock out a Sigilyph, because you get to knock out Suicune pretty easily with its weakness to grass, so you just Solar Beam with Meganium. But here it'll take 2 Solar Beams, so maybe what I want to do is play a Hypnotoxic Laser, or Virbank, or Muscle Band, or even just a Plus Power. Probably Muscle Band over Plus Power, because although the only reason I even mention Plus Power is that you can use Hard Charm and Plus Power, where you can't use Muscle Band and Hard Charm on a Pokemon. But it really doesn't matter what it is, as long as it lets us knock out some Sigilyphs. So there might be something to playing Virbank, because it'll make that Crisis Vine do so much damage. If you Crisis Vine them and you have Virbank out, it'll deal 150, including the poison. Plus, if they're paralyzed and they're stuck there, it'll deal another 30 on the way back, making it knock out any EX in one hit, in only one of your attacks. So say they're locked in, it takes them out, and then you get to attack again immediately on a new target. So there might be something to playing Burbank, just to boost some damage. Although you still have to play like a laser to help Meganium out. So here, if you count it up, he has 8 energy plus muscle band plus my 4 energy. So that's 9 times 20, so that's 260 damage minus the hard charm, so that's 240 damage. And I had 250 HP, except I already had 10 damage on me, so he did exactly the damage, which is why I mentioned not wanting to use max potion there. So we just lost that game due to running out of cards. We were in a pretty good position to win that game, so maybe we want to play a super rod or something. That way we can also get back some energy in our deck in case we discard them all, and also a key Pokemon, like if we need our Rizian or Mega Venusaur or Float back or something. Anyways, so here this next game, our opponent has Suicune, which is good because it's the one that we can knock out. And we're seeing the power of Hard Charm, taking it from a 3-hit KO to a 4-hit KO. And if we had another Float or something, it'd be even higher. So here we've got the choice of what do we do next turn, since we top decked that Professor's Oak because we were having trouble there because this deck just does not have enough card draw in it. Runs out. Sometimes you just gotta, if you're playing this deck, you kind of just gotta get lucky and keep the cards flowing, or have the Tropical Beach already. But now we've got that decision of Tropical Beach, attack, or evolve. And last turn it was pretty clear to get rid of that Suicune while we already had everything set up. And here we just had to search up Virizion so that we could start using the Leaf Trans so that we could heal off the damage. And so here we were kind of just looking for a switch, but I think we just retreated there, and we got the Crisis Vine train going. And so what's cool to note is that even if our opponent gets that Garbodor up and running, we'll still be able to use Leaf Trans to move the energies off and max potion, even though we won't have access to the extra damage or the extra HP and the extra whatchamacallit. But if you saw there, you pause the screen, we had the full rig. We got the extra 40 HP, the can't be affected by statuses, and the takes less damage with the hard charm. So that was pretty nice. But as you can see, they finally got the Garbodor up and running, and Crisis Vine for 120 plus the 10 damage knocks out those 131s. Pretty nice. And it's just an unstoppable Crisis Vine train. Because they can't knock you out in one hit, and they'd have to power up one Pokemon, switch it to another one, and either switch back or have a second Pokemon all the way powered up to even, do 2 attacks in a row. So it's a pretty good attacker once you got it going. Alright, thanks for watching.